Hi everyone, my name is Anita Ladhani. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an energy practitioner. And today I want to talk to you about a very important topic called postpartum depression. Postpartum depression actually affects 15% on an average of women who actually give birth. What is it and what is it not? I also want to talk about what the symptoms look like, what it causes it, what to do about it, what not to do about it, what not to say to a woman suffering from postpartum depression, and how do you tell the difference between baby blues versus postpartum depression, and on and on. So let's talk about what is postpartum depression. So basically, postpartum depression is the extreme form of a chemical imbalance. So when a woman gives birth, her body goes through changes hormonally. And soon after giving birth, because of the changes in hormones, also because babies are very demanding and ends up being where moms stay up, there's a lack of consistent sleep. It ends up being where 80% of new mothers experience baby blues, which is normal the first few weeks after giving birth. But eventually, hopefully that tapers off, your body kind of levels off, you're able to adjust to the schedule, you get up in terms of support with the baby, and you move on. Postpartum depression is severe. Postpartum depression doesn't go away. It gets triggered usually maybe a couple weeks, a few days to up to a year after giving birth. It's a chemical imbalance, it's a hormonal imbalance in your body, along with the fact that you're not getting sleep, the fact that you are emotional, your body, there's self-esteem body images because a lot of women, tend to gain weight. And it's well and good when we have this beautiful big belly, but the minute the belly goes, the baby's out, then all of a sudden we're no longer pregnant, we're fat. And that can be quite depressing. There's also a loss of control over, our life. Our life as we know it is completely over. Now we've got a baby that we're planning around in addition to whatever else we already had going on. If we've got other kids, if we've got, jobs, even if we're not working, if we've got a husband, we've got other responsibilities that we usually are, answerable to. And so all of that can really contribute to postpartum depression. How do you tell if it's postpartum depression versus baby blues? Well, technically, the research says that you're not supposed to diagnose yourself. So the recommendation is go see your doctor. Go talk to your gynecologist when you go for follow-up visits. Go talk to the pediatrician when you go take your baby for well baby checkups. But, do some research. And also, if it's affecting or interfering with your day-to-day ability to feel joy, to care for the baby, then you need to ask questions and look into whether is it just baby blues or is it something that it might be postpartum depression. So let's talk about what is it not. Postpartum depression is not something a mom imagines. She's not being lazy. She's not being moody. She might be moody, but it's not because she just feels like being difficult. It's because hormonally she's all over the place. I mean, men carry a baby for 9 months and go through the process of your body changing and growing and to build this, not build, but grow this beautiful life within you, and then go through the process of giving birth or going through a C-section, and then recovering from that. And then you talk about, a woman possibly, being moody. So it's really, really disrespectful and really obnoxious to assume that, a woman is just being lazy because, or she's not up to the level that she used to be. Now, remember, postpartum depression can but it can get triggered within the first few days after giving birth, but it could also take a few weeks or up to a year to where it's chronic and it doesn't go away. So it can be a little confusing for men, where you think your wife's fine and all of a sudden she's not okay. What does postpartum depression, how does it look? What does it look like? Well, extreme sadness, lack of energy, not having any motivation to take care of your baby, basic, showering and brushing your teeth. I mean, you already kind of, as a mom of a newborn baby, and if you're nursing or even if you're not, your days and nights kind of get jumbled anyways, because you're adjusting, you're sleeping or you're staying awake around your baby's schedule. Sometimes it's just crying for no reason at all, or just anxiety that hits you, and you're like, you have no idea what's going on. Or sometimes it's just you freeze and you can't seem to move or get yourself to do anything. It's low self-esteem, feeling inadequate, in taking care of the baby, and then feeling guilty about it, feeling shame about it, feeling worthless, just doubting yourself. Of course, change in sleeping, change in eating too much or lack of appetite, or sleeping too much, or of course not being able to sleep because of the baby, having trouble bonding with the baby. All of these things just really just compound the issue of postpartum depression. Postpartum depression also can happen if you have not successfully delivered a baby. If you've had a miscarriage, unfortunately, you are still, likely possible for you to experience postpartum depression, because your body still went through some of the hormonal changes and it's recovering from it. Believe it or not, men actually suffer from postpartum depression in addition to women. So for men, it tends to be, it can be 3 to 6 months after the wife's given birth, and they end up, for whatever reason, feeling sad and depressed and irritated or what have you. What to do about it? Well, I think what you can do about it is get help. The basics depends on the extreme, depends on the severity of your symptoms. The least you can do is go see a therapist on a consistent basis. If you need to take medication, nothing wrong with that. Take medication while you are going through therapy, so that you can continue the process of healing and your body healing and equalizing itself. There are times when, postpartum depression doesn't go away, and it actually ends up sort of evolving into chronic depression. Depends on what else is going on in your life, right? So how do I know so much about this subject? Well, besides the fact that I'm a professional in the field, besides the fact that I talk to a lot of people and I work with a lot of people, I myself am a mom, and of course my kids are 16 and 20 years old, but I remember going through postpartum depression as clear as it was yesterday. So I've lived through it myself. And for me, it started with baby blues. I remember just literally like hours after, hours after the baby was born, my firstborn, who's 20 years old, just crying for no reason at all, sitting in the hospital bed, feeling ugly. I remember my hair was cut short and I just felt so gross, and crying and just crying. And so the doctor, in his wisdom, prescribed me something, and I didn't realize it was an antidepressant at the time. But of course I took it and I felt better. But it was only a temporary thing. It was only, a couple of weeks worth of medication to get me through the baby blues. And I thought I was okay then, but, I really wasn't. It was just, I adjusted to the baby and I thought I was happy, but it took, months and months. But again, my personal life was upside down at the time. I mean, I was pretty happily married at the time, but we were going through selling our house, moving to a new city with a new baby. It was just away from family. And it was a lot. It was the pregnancy, not the pregnancy, but the depression, which I didn't even realize that I was experiencing, really took a toll on my marriage. I don't blame my poor ex-husband, because he didn't know what to do with me. How was he supposed to, know? I mean, he was a young 30-some-year-old himself trying to establish his career. So how was he supposed to know what to do with me? I did have female, one of my mentors who recently passed away, I remember her telling me, looks like depression, you need to get help. But at that point, one of the issues with depression and postpartum depression and anxiety is the inability to reach out and get help. And it's really incumbent upon the people that are around a person going through this to push them, to literally drag them out of the house and take them to the doctor's appointments, to make it possible for them to go get the help. Because a lot of times, I know in my case, I'm sure I could have left the baby with my mother-in-law or with my ex-husband, my husband, but I didn't think that was an option. I didn't think I could, go and get help. So what do you do? So anyways, long story short, for me, the postpartum depression did eventually become a chronic issue, but because then the marriage, crumbled and there were other issues going on. And then I did suffer from chronic depression for decades, where I was on meds, off meds, on meds. And it was finally, because of the energy work that I do and because of, lots of changes in my diet and doing a lot of work, that I'm able to get off meds. But I am the first to get back on meds if I need to. So, if you've heard anything else I've said on my other videos, I'm a big proponent of medication. As long as you're monitoring it and you're doing it, if you need it, I'm no shame in that, guys. To me, it's, I wish I could come up with a terminology that could help people understand that although it's called mental illness, it's not a mental thing that you're imagining. It's actually a physiological thing that is causing emotional symptoms, but it's not that you're making it up. So if you're someone that is going through this, or if you know someone going through this, encourage them to get help. Go see a psychiatrist. Go see a pediatrician. Go see a gynecologist. At the least, see a therapist. Even if it's a therapist you go once a week to go talk to. Who cannot? Every one of us can benefit from going 1 hour a week at the least and talking to someone who helps us sort of vent and put things in perspective and gives us some feedback and learn some safe coping skills. If it's extreme, please get yourself help. If you feel like you're going to hurt yourself, if you feel like you're going to hurt the baby, then I think you owe it to yourself to get help. So call 911. Take yourself to the nearest emergency room. Have yourself, treated. Give yourself a break. If you're able to get the support, and then give yourself, plan on giving yourself, the time and energy, the effort, not the time and energy, my words are escaping me. I apologize. Give yourself permission to take care of yourself, because you cannot take care of yourself. You cannot take care of the baby. You cannot give to your family if you are running with an empty cup. So if you're not okay, it's going to affect your husband. It's going to affect your kids. It's going to affect everything in your life. And so you owe it to everyone else, if you're not going to do it for yourself, to really reach out and get help. I hope this has been helpful. I hope I've answered the questions. As always, feel free to comment and inbox me if you have any questions and if I can be of any further assistance. Take care, love and light, and God bless. Bye.